Indie Shooter, brought to you by Akidio, Band Pro Film and Digital, Blackmagic Design, and Carl Zeiss.
Hi, Clint with Indie Shooter here at the Panasonic Hollywood Theater here with Hal Long, Director of Photography and also Director. And tonight you were showing some footage that you've shot with the LT and also some footage you shot with the EVA1, kind of giving us a comparison. But first, Hal, tell us a little bit about your career. How long have you been working as a DP?
I've been a DP since finishing film school back in 1999, 2000. Kicked around for the first year or two after film school, made my way as an editor and as a shooter, kind of got in the reality game and started shooting a lot more, and then one thing led to another, and before I knew it I was doing commercials and promos and onwards and upwards.
You've probably gone through a gamut of different types of cameras then over the course of your career, right?
Yeah, I've had many cameras.
How long have you been working with the Panasonic Varicam 35 and LT?
I've been working with the V35 and the LT for 4 years. I shot my first season of Gunny Time 4 years ago on that. And then I've been working with the LT since about a year and a half, 2 years later when it came out. And then this year we've started using the EVA1, and I've been mixing them together on multiple projects, and it looks great. They really cut together well.
You were saying that on Gunny Time you guys utilize several different cameras, GoPros, LTs. Was the EVA1, was the interest in it primarily because you needed something lighter or something like that?
Well, our primary cameras for people, for the reality portion of people talking and having a good time, are the Varicams, and I wanted a camera that would match the Varicams really well. I'd used the GH5s and GH4s the first couple seasons, and they were good, but I wanted something that was a little bit closer match, and we've got like 15 different cameras on the shoot, so adding another big camera to the budget wasn't really going to work. And so when the EVA came out, I jumped right on it and put it through a test and did a side-by-side with the LT and thought that they play very well together.
You did some test footage on your own of ProResRaw, right?
That's correct.
And but you guys aren't utilizing that for the show currently, right?
No, we're not using ProResRaw. We have one DIT on the show, and he is a busy guy. And if I told him that one camera alone was going to throw off 512 gigabytes for a half an hour of footage, which is what ProResRaw is, he would have a heart attack.
So, but you did get a chance to play with it a little bit. Talk a little bit about your experience and what you thought of it.
I think ProResRaw is really cool. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. I feel like combined with the EVA1, I think you get a little bit more latitude. It's definitely a little bit quieter. It's extremely gradable. In Final Cut X, which is where the only NLE that can read ProResRaw right now, there's a lot of data to work with. It's very quiet. And so my workflow was to do my cut and do a base color, just getting everything stretched out and making the full use of my files before I exported them as 444s to finish the grade and resolve. Did
you find that, I mean, it was comparative to working with RAW as far as like the amount of control you had over the image?
It's hard to say. When I work with RAW, coming off of the Sonys or off of the Reds, they have a RAW window where you can dive in a little bit deeper into the codec. That's not available yet with ProResRaw. I'm optimistic to see where it goes from here. Maybe they'll put a control panel in there in the years to come.
What is the space difference between like recording RAW and recording ProResRaw? Is it comparative, or is it much lighter? Or
in 4K, well, it's not apples to apples, because with the EVA1, it only outputs RAW as 5.7K. You can output it as 4K, but if you want to use the whole sensor, it's outputting it at 5.7K, which is what I did my tests in. So I know that ProRes at 4K uses a certain amount. For half an hour, I think it's around 200 and something gigabytes, whereas for 5.7K ProResRaw, which is a bigger file, that was almost 512 gigabytes for a half hour.
Moving forward, do you think that you guys are going to continue to utilize the LT EVA1 workflow? Oh,
absolutely. I think it's a great combination. I'd put the EVA1 and the LT together on commercials, TV show. I think the EVA1 it's a great additional camera, a B or a C camera, on a bigger show. And on the smaller shows, I think it's a good primary camera.
Excellent. And the new season of Gunny Time is coming out pretty soon, right?
That's right. We're nearing the end of the 4th season, and there's still a couple episodes coming out. But you can tune in on the Outdoor Channel, and it's screening there all the time.
If people want to find out more about you, is there a website they could go to or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. My website for DP work is www.hal-long.com, or for DP and director work, it's henryfilms.com.
Indie Shooter, brought to you by Akidio, Band Pro Film and Digital, Blackmagic Design, and Carl Zeiss.